Welcome to News and Brews with the Times, where we spill the tea on what's happening in Hall County, Georgia. It's April 28th, 2025. Today, we have news about a pedestrian killed in downtown, several threats at local schools, accusations about a stranger trying to abduct a middle schooler, and at least one commissioner who wants to slow down development. Education reporter Ben Anderson is also joining us to talk about those school threats and about tracking down a film crew in Gainesville that included actor Zach Braff. Good morning. I'm Shannon Casas.
And I'm Stacy Smith. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Thanks for having me.
Grab your favorite brew and take a sip as we guide you through what's been happening in Hall County. A man in a wheelchair was killed when crossing the road at Academy Street, right downtown last Monday. The driver left the scene without stopping but was later arrested.
Yeah, I saw the picture that our reporter Nick Watson got with the wheelchair turned upside down. It's a great photo.
Stunning.
But also an area that I walk a good bit going down to the square. You walked with me, I think, one time to do a promo for this podcast. So,
oh, yeah. It's a very, very highly traversed crosswalk, I think, for pedestrians. It's right there in front of that antique shop, just direct access to the square.
Yeah, I know when I'm crossing the street there, especially for cars turning, I will always look at them, stare them down before I will walk.
Oh, yeah. You got to make eye contact.
Right. And even as a driver, you're looking for cars, not pedestrians. Typically, it's just kind of the way that I feel like we're conditioned. But yeah, there are pedestrians there.
Definitely is a phenomena someone who grew up in Gainesville is not used to. There's definitely an increase in pedestrianship in Gainesville. So it's not something that you've always had to think or worry about. Even though we've had the crosswalks, there just wasn't always people using them.
For sure. And I believe there was a woman who was pushing him across the street, and she was in the hospital the last we heard. Not sure what the update there is, but our team will stay on top of that.
Yeah, I hope she recovers quickly.
There were several school threats last week. A quick rundown of the three. Someone called Chastity threatening that explosives were planted around campus and students would be harmed if they tried to leave. A girl threatened over Snapchat on Wednesday to shoot up Johnson High School after her prom date flaked on her. Then at West Hall High, an assistant principal called the school resource officer Thursday morning to report a suspicious male on the roof with a backpack, and the school and the neighboring middle school were locked down.
Where do we even start? That's a lot going on, Ben. You were busy.
That was all this week.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
I'm sure it was a nerve-wracking week for the people over there at Hall County schools.
So I think Chastity was the first one, and I talked with y'all in the newsroom, and y'all referred to swatting. So can you tell us about what that is and what was going on there?
So swatting is basically when someone makes a fake threat. They usually call in somewhere, say, hey, I'm going to harm wherever you're at, I'm going to do something, and then that person calls law enforcement, and it triggers this massive response from police and law enforcement.
So it's about getting that massive response to an area?
Yes, okay. Yes. And usually the threat is usually never credible. It's just, it's basically a prank call.
Right. And I guess we should say all of these were found to not be credible, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think we're definitely in an age we all know these things are serious. Some of them, I think we had some comments on the male on the roof turned out to be a student. Is that right?
Yes.
So some kids on the roof, I think people were sharing photos of the kid on the roof, and then kid runs. Is he charged now?
Yes, he has been charged with criminal trespassing and disruption of a school.
Was he a student at the school?
Yes.
Okay. But he's not supposed to be on the roof, I guess.
Not supposed to be on the roof.
Right.
Yes.
Was it a senior prank? Because those were some comments that we were seeing as well.
I don't know, actually. I'm not sure if it was.
TBD.
We can look into that.
And then obviously the girl who posted on Snapchat, and it was over her prom date. Obviously that got some comments as well.
Yes. So this girl goes to Banks County High School, and she apparently had a prom date at Johnson High School. Her prom date flaked on her, and so she posted a thread on Snapchat and said that she would shoot up the school.
Yeah, that's a harsh way to go with your reaction there. Yeah, any time you're upset, kids have to know they can't make these threats because she's charged now too, right?
Yeah, so she has been charged as a juvenile with terroristic threats.
Yeah, so that's definitely a conversation I have with my kids. Like, you can't do that. You cannot make threats of any kind.
Yeah, I think parents need to let their kids know that in today's day and age, you just cannot
You will be
do
charged
or
with
say
a crime.
anything like that.
Yeah. One of Hall County's commissioners is pushing for a moratorium on high-density development. Neighboring Forsyth just passed a moratorium like that, and Commissioner Greg Poole mentioned the idea at the end of a Hall County Board of Commissioners meeting. When the Times spoke with him later about it, he said the Georgia 365 area especially needs to slow down with all the changes that are coming to that road. That's also the area where he represents.
I mean, that's kind of crazy to me. Not to sound insensitive to the people of 365, but I feel like that's the most underdeveloped part of Hall County. And if we were going to build anything, it should go over there. Stay away from South Hall, at least.
Stay away from your backyard.
Yeah. I mean, that's a large sentiment that we were seeing on Facebook is, yes, we've been shouting this for years. Hopefully it's something that they are taking seriously.
Yeah, I know when I read the story, I think most of the other commissioners were kind of on the other side. I believe, Billy Powell was afraid that would harm the economy if we put a moratorium on development. Kathy Cooper, I believe, said this isn't the time. We just put together the comprehensive plan, which is something that is supposed to guide how development happens. And then Jeff Stowe basically said some areas are ready for more development, some areas not. But I mean, obviously development's a huge issue for our area. So trying to guide good growth is important. I think with it being on the northeast end, you see that it's more rural and a lot of people want it to stay that way. I know we've seen that previously from like the Claremont area as well. They don't want growth.
I think that's what the people are saying. And I know that was one of the platforms that David Gibbs ran on. I don't think he's had any comment about the moratorium that's been proposed yet, but
yeah, I think they weren't able to reach him.
I think it's just, about building the infrastructure needed and planning for that. And hopefully that's what happens.
Yeah. So people say they don't want growth. At the same time, it does depend on what it is. Like, I'm excited about the next story we're going to talk about, the new Publix, which is opening. And then at the same time, when new dining places open, and then you've got apartments that people are against, but then you have people move into them. So managing it's definitely a big task. Tell us about that Publix, Stacey.
Yeah, so it's going to be coming to the area of Price Road and Thompson Bridge, so almost exactly catty corner from the existing Kroger. And it's going to be opening next month. We talked to the marketing director there at the development and trying to figure out what other businesses are going to be coming in.
Yeah, I'm just excited that Publix is opening. That's the area where I live. There's a Kroger right there. That Kroger is busy all the time. Plus, Publix has some different things. Mountain Fresh Creamery milk is a go-to for our family, and they carry it at Publix, but not at Kroger.
Wow. Kroger. I live next to a Publix, so that is my go-to. It's 2 minutes away, and I had never really shopped at Publix before we moved into our home, and it's life-changing. I'm so excited for the people of North Hall. My sister lives right across the street from that development, so I know she's really excited about it as well.
So you guys like Publix more than Kroger?
Kroger is my go-to right now because it's convenient.
Okay.
And I did grow up shopping at Kroger as well.
I'm a Publix stan.
It's too expensive.
It's good quality. It's good quality.
It is better quality. I will say that. It's cleaner when I go in there. You do feel like you're buying higher quality stuff, but you just can't beat Kroger brand foods. I mean, it doesn't matter what you get. The Kroger brand is almost always going to be as good as the name brand. I buy chips. I buy like canned beans. I buy frozen pizza. The Kroger frozen pizza is pretty good.
That's true. I
And
mean,
it's
there's definitely pros and cons for both of them. I think the biggest thing is
we'll have the choice now in North Hall.
Exactly.
That's exciting. A 12-year-old reported that a man came out of the woods while she was at the bus stop and tried to take her. She told authorities he was barefoot, about 6 feet tall, grabbed her arm. She ran, he chased her, and then when a vehicle came down the street, he ran off. Authorities were searching the area. The Times published information about what was going on and the description. And then late that same day, the sheriff's office reported the girl had lied.
She made the whole thing up.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not clear why. I mean, this obviously happened in the morning while she was waiting to get on the bus. And then at about 8:20 p.m. last night, we get a release from the sheriff's office, and they say she made it all up.
When I first heard the story, I turned to Stacy and was like, this stranger abduction thing, like, that's so rare. Like, it's a parent's often, like, worst nightmare. But typically, when you have an abduction, it's somebody the kid knows. And so when it's a stranger, that's not to say it never happens, but it's so rare and scary. So it's kind of good to know she was lying, but at the same time, that's a lot of law enforcement activity over a false claim.
Yeah, I think what made it so believable is just how much detail she provided about the alleged abduction attempt, about the guy. It just all sounded so believable.
So what happens next for her? Do we know?
The sheriff's office says that she will not be charged. It is a crime to falsely report.
But just due to her age, I guess they don't feel like it's worth pursuing.
I'm not sure. I got that email from the sheriff's office last night. They just said, look, we're not going to charge her.
Well, there were some mixed reactions to the update on Instagram. And I just have one question. What is up with all of these comments that read, what the helly Burton? What the helly Bay? What does this mean?
What? No, you need to read all of them.
What the hellante? I don't know if I'm saying that one right. And what the hellebrohonis? No, that's not right. Hellebronhans?
I don't know how you decide what comes after the first 4 letters.
I don't know. It seems very random, and I would love an explanation. Instagram listeners,
They're kids, right?
for sure. It was fun though, as a light way to end this very traumatic story or dramatic story that the community was really concerned about to begin with, and lightened the mood once we found out it was made up.
Yeah. Kids say the darndest things. I mean, these are sure teenagers. I think they do too.
I think like 80% of our Instagram following are probably high schoolers.
Sometimes it seems that way in the comments. Probably not the case. But.
Well, if you're listening and you're above the high school age, feel free to chime in on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you. Follow up. Our producer just told us that was a rap song. So we'll leave you guys with that today.
Our producer is younger than any of us at the table. I'm fairly certain.
Definitely. Actors Zach Braff and Esther McGregor were filming in Gainesville this week, and I was actually able to track them down. Ben and I went out and found them on set one day last week and got some cool shots and inside look at the movie Clean Hands they're filming.
Who's Zach Braff?
Yeah, that was one of the most popular sentiments on social media. And I was surprised because, guys, it's the actor from Scrubs, the main guy. He was also in Garden State, and I believe he's moved into more of a production role lately. But he's huge.
Yeah, I can see his face now. He's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So that's cool to have him in Gainesville.
Yes, him and Esther, Ewan McGregor's daughter.
Oh. Yeah, I love Ewan McGregor. I haven't seen her in anything, I don't think.
I don't know that I have either, to be honest, but...
Yeah, so they were in Gainesville. Where were they at? Where were they filming?
So they were over there on Academy Street by the old Methodist church, filming some scenes in the parking lot. Zach Braff and Esther McGregor are filming a kind of bonding moment scene where they're playing basketball in the parking lot.
What's the movie about?
So it's about a narcotics detective, and he becomes a kind of recovery advocate once his own daughter, begins to struggle with addiction.
Okay, so is Zach Braff playing the detective, and then
he plays the
Esther
detective.
McGregor is the daughter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and the movie is set in Baltimore. So we actually got to talk to the production designer and ask her why they chose Gainesville for filming.
Yeah, so the production designer actually lives in Gainesville, and she recommended that they come here to shoot some scenes. She said that these sort of industrial outskirts of the city resemble Baltimore a little bit, and so this was a good place to film.
And a lot of the production crew, cast members, extras, those kind of things, even some of the police members, police officers in the film were locals.
Yeah, we were told that a lot of the crew were local. I think some police officers were extras in the movie. The crew was very nice to us and very accommodating. Mm-hmm. They let us get a pretty good behind-the-scenes look at kind of what they were doing. And at one point, the producer, I went up to him and I said, "Hey, can I kind of get closer and get some video? I'd like to get some video for social media of Zach Braff." And he said, "Give me your phone." So he grabbed my phone, and he actually walked back there and got closer than I would have been able to get, and got some video of Zach Braff and just, the crew doing their thing back there.
Yeah, that video is really cool. I saw it on Instagram. I think we've got it up on Facebook too.
Yeah.
Highlight of my week.
Thanks for listening. And if you tuned in last week, we talked about Char STK, steakhouse coming downtown in a big development. And we were hoping to talk with the developer last week. Spoke with Jeff Gill, but he wasn't able to track him down. So keep looking for it. We are still working on it. If you're curious about something else, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email at podcastadmin@GainesvilleTimes.com. We'd also appreciate any other feedback you have, and would love it if you would rate the podcast on your app and share with a friend.
You can learn more about any of the stories we talked about today at the link in our show notes. Join us again next week.